Chag Sameach, happy Sukkot, I am back. And as you can see, I got a haircut. So you might be putting two and two together, seeing this haircut and the title of this video. I think you know where this is headed.
Came out the dark and that light was bright. I'm on my vibe.
I feel like someone just punched me in the gut because I inadvertently broke Torah law today. I broke halachah, and what I did was got a haircut on Hamoed, which is the intermediate days of the festival of Sukkot in this case, during which you are not supposed to get a haircut. It's part of Torah law that you don't do that. And it's something that I had definitely learned before. And to be totally honest, I just completely forgot and just totally failed at this one. And I'm feeling awful about it. I feel just completely nervous. Like I literally feel like I broke the law, which is exactly what I did, and just not feeling great about it. So, I don't even know where to start with this. I guess let's start here. I have been Jewishly observant, Torah observant, or at least aspiring to be, as we can see, for about 2 years now, a little over 2 years. And even though I've been around the Jewish community for like 15, 16 years, I've only been keeping up Jewish observances as stringently as possible as I know how to over the last 2-ish years. So I'm still somewhat new to this. It's not a great excuse, but I basically just completely forgot and didn't realize that I wasn't supposed to get a haircut during Chol Hamoed. So something I do make a practice of. Shabbos I have like pretty much down pat at this point. I've been keeping Shabbos for like 2 years now. So, I've cut all my toilet paper, I have all my cooking done, I have things on timers, and I'm very careful about observing Shabbos. Not to say that I don't inadvertently break it sometimes. We'll kind of get to that in a second. But anyway, that's kind of, I've been very comfortable with the idea of keeping Shabbos and Yom Tov at this point, or so I thought. I was like, I've got this down at this point. It's been a couple years now. I'm like going into my third year of Jewish holidays and all of the observances. So I really felt like, okay, I've got this down. But still what I do, come every Jewish holiday, what I'll do is make sure to study up on the Torah law and the halachah and the different customs that are around that holiday, because each holiday has its own different observances. So for Sukkot as well, what I always do is I actually love the Chabad.org resources. They send these really great emails just reminding you when different holidays are coming up, and they have these amazing holiday guides that just break everything down in terms of all the practices, observances, customs that you have to go through for each day, and candlelighting times and all that kind of stuff. So I'll always print that out, read them beforehand, just mark them up, like make sure I have everything prepared and down pat. On top of that, I'll do my best to find a few different shirim and learn through YouTube from different rabbis about the different customs and practices and ideas behind these holidays. So I really do my best to do like my research, study in advance, and just have everything prepared and good to go for the holidays, which is what I did for Sukkot. And I had a wonderful first 2 days, and I hope you guys did as well. In my sukkah, just everything was great. But for whatever reason this year, I just wasn't thinking so much about Chol Hamoed, or I kind of thought I already had that down. Sorry for the noise, by the way. I hope there's like yard work stuff happening, and I hope that's not too loud. But anyway, so I just didn't really refresh myself on the laws of Chol Hamoed. I was just thinking about certain aspects, like not doing work unless it's necessary in order to not lose money. Like there's certain laws that I was aware of and was thinking about in preparation for the holiday, and thought like, okay, this stuff doesn't apply to me, or I understand this and that. And I just didn't actually look like more formally at all of the restrictions, which is exactly what I should have done. Maybe I was feeling a little too confident, like, hey, I'm 2 years into this, I'm going to my third year, and like, oh, I've got this down at this point. Like, I've been feeling more and more confident in terms of having the preparations and just kind of being into the rhythms of the holidays. So maybe it came from a little bit from there. Like, honestly, I think I was just being careless and forgetful. I definitely should have refreshed myself on these laws, because when I was thinking about the haircutting thing, like I knew that there were certain restrictions involving haircuts in Jewish law. The things that I was thinking about were certain periods, certain times of the year, including times of mourning, like Tisha B'Av, for example, where we don't cut our hair. I just completely dropped the ball on this and didn't remember that you're not supposed to cut your hair on Chol Hamoed either. So Anyway, I was in the salon. I had made this appointment like before Sukkot even started, so I had plenty of time to have this trigger in my brain, but it didn't come up until I was already like basically done with the cut. And then I just had this like gnawing feeling in me, thinking like, wait a second, am I not supposed to have gotten a haircut on Hamoed? And I just looked it up on my phone, and there it was on several sites, just confirming that yes, the halachah is not to get a haircut on Hamoed. So as soon as I saw that, like, just my heart dropped into my stomach. I had like a little mini panic attack almost. I just kind of freaked out and felt just terrible and awful, which I still do right now. Just completely uncomfortable with what happened. And anyway, it kind of is what it is. It happened. I made the mistake. I feel terrible about it. And I don't at all, like, God forbid, want to downplay when things like this happen. I absolutely should have taken the care and been a lot more diligent to actually refresh myself on the laws. I should have been so confident to have known what the restrictions were around Chol Hamoed, because clearly I did not know them well enough to have surpassed that step. It's just, it's not okay. It's not okay to break halachah, to desecrate Yom Tov or Shabbos. But I guess I wanted to share this video a little bit just to vent and kind of process it a little bit, but also to just address that these things do happen, especially when you are newly or more newly observant. It's hard to get it 100% right 100% of the time. In fact, you almost certainly won't have that happen. So I just wanted to share this as kind of like, hopefully learn from my mistake, be very diligent in your preparations. But also when this does happen to you, if it does happen to you, like, don't freak out. It happens to the best of us, happens to everyone. And I think the thing that I'm trying to take away from this moment, even though as I'm kind of like still having my little panicky, like not feeling great about it inside, what I'm trying my best to take from this moment is to accept these errors, these errors as lovingly, as compassionately to yourself. Don't kick yourself, in other words, for making these mistakes. Definitely do tshuva, talk to Hashem about it, which is immediately what I did. As soon as I got in the car after my appointment, I started, just kind of processing it, having a little mini moment of hitbodedut in the car. Just, pray on it, think about it, process it, and really commit to not make that ever again. I certainly am going to be like more uber careful about really studying all of the, just preparing better, really. I mean, I had done that, like I said, regarding Sukkot and, really more so the official Yom Tov days. And I don't know. I have no good excuse. I don't think it's appropriate to make excuses either. I failed in this situation. But at the same time, which is what I was saying, do your best to be compassionate to yourself, be gentle on yourself, because as if you're like me, newly observant, I didn't grow up with this stuff, so it's not second nature. It's still something new to me, and I'm doing my best, which is really, the point. Try your best to stick with the law, but sometimes things like this will happen, and at that point, it's like, do your best not to freak out and just spoil your day and spoil. Don't make it into something that's so negative and so dense and sort of icky feeling. And, as I'm trying to work through these feelings myself, I'm just trying to relate that, I guess I'm just trying to accept the situation as gracefully as possible, because at the end of the day, other than committing to correct yourself, moving, in the future, there's not much else you can do but to accept it as gracefully as possible. So I've had, this is definitely not the first, blip that I've had. I've had many moments where I realize after the fact that I've desecrated Shabbos even, or just, broken laws that I was not aware of at the moment or had forgotten about. A few good examples, or I don't know, maybe I'll just give you one, but I remember one time, not too long ago, it might have been within the last 6 months or so, I spent a good chunk of Shabbos afternoon playing Legos with my niece. I was playing Legos, and only afterward did I realize it's kind of arguable. I've kind of seen references both ways in terms of whether you can play with building blocks because you're building and creating, but it's not really a permanent structure. So that's a little bit nebulous, but I certainly shouldn't have played Legos because I was picking and choosing between the different pieces, sorting colors and shapes and things like that. So that would be against halachah, something you don't do on Shabbos because you're sorting, which is one of the categories of work that is forbidden by Jewish law. So I didn't realize that at the time, where I was like happily playing all like afternoon with these Legos, and afterwards when I realized that I had completely desecrated Shabbat, I felt completely guilty and just awful, like heart in the pit of my stomach kind of thing, and it was a really terrible feeling. But I learned from it, I moved on, and I have definitely since been very, very careful about that particular aspect of Shabbos observance that I've been really extra mindful of. So, you learn from all these things. Every time you break something, every time you feel terrible about it, you're just adding another layer to your memory bank. And, eventually this stuff will become more second nature. There's certain things to me, like in Jewish observance, that are just completely second nature now because I have broken them and just kind of had my little mini moment of freaking out and processed it. So take it in stride, do your best with it as you can, but most importantly, be loving and gentle on yourself. Don't kick yourself, because it's going to happen. Like we can't, maybe with a few rare exceptions, it's not likely that you're going to get it 100% right 100% of the time. Anyway, I wanted to share that. I just wanted to kind of, emote or just like get that out there because I'm not feeling so happy about what happened. But I'm grateful that I'm for sure gonna learn from this, and at least hopefully I can share this with anyone out there who's kind of going through this sort of rough stage of growing into Jewish observance, where you're making mistakes and it's tough and you feel awful about it. Like for me, I'm a convert, and as much as I'm a convert, I really identify so much more as a Baal Tshuva, or a Ba'alat Tshuva. And that experience is a very intense one, where you suddenly go from living a mostly secular existence to being very driven by Torah law, being very driven and having this like passionate burning desire to uphold halachah, to really live a Torah life. And it's coming from a really meaningful place. I think like that's a strong aspect of the whole Baal Tshuva experience, is that we come into it from a very personal place, being very driven to live for Hashem, to live for Torah. So anyway, it's a lot, and you take it on, in such a quick way sometimes, and I think that happens a lot. I've talked about this in my spiritual burnout videos and things like that. But it's, you take it all on, and it just becomes very overwhelming sometimes, and you have the tendency to just like take it really, just being really intense, I think, is like kind of like a hallmark of the Baal Tshuva experience. Maybe you guys know some Baal Tshuvas like that. But I'm just at this stage, I'm trying to kind of soften the edges a little bit. I feel like I've definitely caught myself being really like really hard-nosed and just intense. And I think that's both beautiful and meaningful, but also, kind of a slippery slope. I want to make sure that I'm also being very realistic and human and mindful of the fact that I'm still pretty new at this. So again, not to make any excuses and not to try to like soften the blow on what happened. I'm still not feeling great about it, but just trying to process it. So I guess I just sort of want to invite you into my mind at this stage of just like what's unraveled today, and hopefully learn something from it. I'm certainly learning something from it. So anyway, that's it. So yeah, this is my breaking law haircut that I'm feeling just, like I'll hopefully, I still need to just kind of like process it. But I'll get through it as I've gotten through all my other little blips and glitches along the way, and hopefully, with God's help, as I move forward in life, I will have less and less of these moments, and just continue to learn from them and grow from them. So that's it, you guys. I'm sorry this is the first video of the year of me like screwing up, but honestly, part of why I wanted to start this channel was to share moments like this. Just sharing with you guys like what it sort of has taken for me to grow into being an observant Jew, and really trying to live a Torah life as best as I can with all the little bumps and bruises along the way. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will come back with a more positive video, I hope, moving forward. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of Sukkot and Chag Sameach, and I will see you guys shortly. Shalom Aleichem.